Hello, and welcome to the Great Southern Trendkill review. This is Pantera's penultimate album, their 8th album. They put out 9. The one before the end, penultimate. It came out in the year 1996, and it has the classic Pantera lineup of Phil Anselmo on vocals, Rex Brown on guitars, and then of course the brothers, Dimebag Darrell on guitars, and Vinnie Paul Abbott on drums. Dimebag Darrell Abbott. It came out in 1996. It hit number 4 on the Billboard Top 200, which is very interesting because, as we'll discuss throughout the video, this is not the kind of album that usually would chart so high. And this album had a rough recording. This was in a difficult period for the band. Vocalist Phil Anselmo was having a lot of back injuries from doing the crazy stage stuff he would do, jumping around and going nuts. If you look up Pantera live videos, you'll find plenty of examples of him just going absolutely crazy on stage, which is great. He's feeling the energy, he's doing stuff, but that really messed up his back. And at this point, there was a surgery he could have gotten, but it would have taken a year and a half to recover. So no touring for a year and a half. And this was like Pantera pretty much at their height, like as big as they got at this point. And he didn't want to stop touring, so he resorted to self-medication, which drugs. He got very addicted to drugs. So during the recording of this album and the tours leading up to the recording of this album, Phil kind of grew apart from the band. He would have his own tour bus, opposed to riding with the rest of the group. He would have his own tour bus. He resulted in this self-medication and stuff, which was not good. It really damaged the relationship between the members in the band. And it led up to, this is the first album that Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie Paul set up their own recording studio at their ranch in Texas. I don't remember where exactly in Texas, but in Texas they set up a recording studio in the barn in this ranch they got. And Phil did not record with them there. It was Rex and the brothers recording in this ranch in Texas. And over in Louisiana, New Orleans, where Phil Anselmo's from, he was recording the vocals. So they would have to fly the tapes back and forth, and that just led to a disjunct. It hurt the relationship of the members of the band. Although, in my opinion, it did not hinder the quality of the music whatsoever. As we will discuss, the music stayed great. So let's get into the tracks here. We have 11 songs to get through. And in number 11th place, I have track 5, 13 Steps to Nowhere, which I would say is probably like a 5 out of 10. Let me grab my notes. There's a really interesting drum intro. It kind of sounds like you're spinning like a top. I like that. The guitar lick that leads into the verse is cool. There's good double bass in there. The drums are really the highlight of this track. The double bass especially is really cool. I'm a big fan of double bass pedals. I think they're probably a top 5 musical invention, and I will write on that. I think they're awesome and really shown a great potential here on this song. After the chorus where he's like 13, 13, 13, 13, there's a really cool bass moment where he takes out a wah pedal and you hear him just wow, back into the riff. That's really cool. There's interesting background noises before the mashup at the end. It's kind of cool because the whole song, everything that the song had introduced previously, kind of comes together on top of each other at the end, which is neat. And the ending is great. I mean, yeah, that's cool. But the vocals on this song are just kind of strange and not really interesting. What he's saying, I don't know. I don't really care that much because it doesn't sound that good. I'm not going to listen into what he's saying because I don't like the way it sounds. And that's really what hinders the song is So it's just strange. Some of it's just strange sounding, and some of it works, some of it doesn't. Drums are great. There's some cool. The bass wah pedal's cool. The guitar parts are okay. I don't know. They're cool, but they're not amazing. I'd give the song a solid 5 out of 10. It's not horrible. It's not amazing. Right in that middle section, I think is a good place to put it. My 10th pick for the album is track 11, Reprise in parentheses, Sandblasted Skin. Um, so there's kind of this really cool soaring sound that transitions right from the track right before this into a cool sounding guitar riff. It really blends the two, they go together. He's chanting like the trend is over. I'll talk about it now. The first track on this album is the title track, The Great Southern Trendkill, and in these last two songs they keep saying the trend is over. Like, it makes me think that this album could have been a concept album about whatever the Great Southern Trendkill is, this snake going on a rampage. I don't know. I think it could have been interesting to see Pantera try and do a concept album. And also, it doesn't seem like the kind of thing they would do, so I'm not really too surprised by it, but it's interesting to think about if they decided to do that. But alas, they didn't. And we'll talk about the music on here, but this song, the scream and the first vocals are cool. There's really nice double bass in there. This song features some great riffage. As one of the funniest Pantera lines in my opinion. You won't need that anymore. It's on sale at the fucking dollar store. Like, it's just funny. It makes me laugh. Greater, you know, I just think that's a line is entertaining. The transition and the riff after that are awesome. They're very groovy and they're very heavy. You should keep it. Here's a fun drinking game. Every time I describe something as groovy, you should take a sip because Pantera, they're known as the groove metal group, and there's plenty of groove on this album. So, if you're 21 plus, I should specify. Yeah, I like it when he screams "Sandblast yourself." It's kind of a nice release of tension. Um, it's a super slow riff that's heavy. It's awesome. It's a cool variation on like the main riff, the that this song is kind of. This song I give about a 7 out of 10 because this first section is really good. Very cool. But then they throw in this break. Like I was talking about it on the Deliverance review with By the Pain I See and Others, how they have that break where it just doesn't go anywhere, and it's like, if you're gonna have a break, bring me somewhere. And there's a break in here, and it just recycles that riff, that like, why are we saying the same thing over again? Like, this is a huge missed opportunity because this album, we'll talk about more when we get to the title track, but it kicks off with this very intense scream the second you press play. And I think it was a missed opportunity to have some kind of musical gesture that builds to that scream. I think that would have been really cool. And it was kind of a missed opportunity. So it's whatever. I mean, I give it a 7 out of 10 because that first chunk is very good. I'll move on to my 9th pick for the album. I have Drag the Waters, which I gave another 7 out of 10. This is track 3 on the album, and this is the most conventional Pantera. I mentioned this is their 8th album. Their first 3 albums were all like hair metal, glam metal stuff with Metal Magic, Projects in the Jungle, and Something in the Night. And then those weren't with Phil Anselmo. Phil Anselmo, or their first singer Terry Glaze, left after those. They got Phil Anselmo to do the album Power Metal, which came out in like 88 maybe. And that one's alright. It's not bad for what it is, being a kind of bit heavier thrash band, like heavier than like Queen Drake, but not quite what they'd get to with their next album, Cowboys from Hell, the first album in the 90s that kicked off this amazing run of albums, which is why we all love Pantera. And that album, Cowboys from Hell, had this sound on it that you came to expect from them, and they would put that on Vulgar Display of Powers, Far Beyond Driven. This album has that, but we'll talk about more. And this is the song, you can definitely feel that sound in these songs, but this is the song that embodies that the most. There's a lot of, we'll talk about it more. I'll just save it for later, but this is the most traditional Pantera sounding song. The intro riff is really cool. There's some nice like pinch harmonics, wah pedal, taking it up 2 octave stuff. That's cool. That's going on. There's some nice palm mutes in there during the verses. Phil's vocals are really, really good here. While he's singing about whatever. I think the story in this song is kind of like this delinquent juvenile who's going on a rampage or something, and then your father that's a judge, that's a god or whatever he says, got your sentence reduced, but like dragging the waters back, you'll find like a monster inside. I think that's kind of what I'm taking away from the lyrics if we want to discuss them, but really it's the riff and his vocal delivery is what I care about more. Like the way he says it all is very, very good and very, very intense, very, very heavy. Phil's vocals, we'll talk about it all throughout this album, but he was at the top of his game. I think this album has his best vocal performances on it. Very, very powerful stuff. You can hear the animosity he has at the world while recording this with his back injuries and resulting to a drug addiction to help him with his back. I can hear all that pain and frustration getting projected upon the music, and it's so powerful. There's before the riff, there's an unexpected and nice surprise for when you listen to this song. The cowbell's really cool, and it makes the chorus hit harder. Drag the waters in you. There's a cowbell in there. I like how the band drops out for the solo. It's a nice contrast because this is a heavy song. The whole band, all members, guitar, bass, drums, vocals are pounding in your face and kind of drops back for a nice intro into a very solid guitar solo. The bass hits hard during the solo. After the solo, when the chorus comes back, it hits hard. There's some nice double bass at the end. My main issue is the song repeats the chorus too many times. Like we could have gotten 1 or 2 less repetitions of the chorus, but it is what it is. And an also interesting fact about Drag the Waters is it's the only song off this album to be featured on their greatest hits album, which is interesting because nowadays, looking back on it, like, it's not the most interesting thing this album has to offer, and it's also not the most popular. Like, when you hear this album, there's other songs people will think about first. So, Drag the Waters, I gave it a solid 7 out of 10. It's a banger. It's a good song. It's not, like, as amazing as the other songs on this album have to offer, but it's a solid track. For my 8th pick on the album, I have track 2, War Nerve. The opening riff is very cool. It sounds like we're rolling along. There's this transitions very nicely from the Great Southern Trendkill, the opening track, into this one. There's a slow and menacing riff in there. There's some really nice tension and dime bags playing in this part, and I really like that. It's like, oh, these two forces like pulling at each other, and like, oh, it sounds so cool. There's some great snare drums in the riffage. It builds very well into the verse, like, and then how it kind of fades, like the truly, 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 fuck the world for all it's worth. Every on planet Earth, the way that like floats into the mix is so cool and gets rolling right into a very heavy verse. Um, Phil's screams are intense. They're a great delivery. This song is Phil screaming at the world, and it's amazing. I love it. The chorus and pre-choruses are nice. They're a nice duality with each other. Fun to chant along with. Um, the song is pretty much Phil screaming at frustrations at the world. And during the chorus, I had the note there was a very nice ride symbol. Um, there's an interesting line in there where Phil's talking about like, um, oh, there's people in the media and reporters and whatnot who will summarize Phil Anselmo under one paragraph as a person, as a character, as a frontman, and he's saying that's unfair, that's stupid. Why can you chalk my entire character up in one paragraph? Like, that's not fair to Phil. And I think that's kind of a powerful message against the media. But yeah, this song kind of, a lot of the songs on this album will open up with an idea. They'll play a really heavy riff. That really heavy riff will turn into the verse riff. There'll be a chorus, and then they'll retransition it all over so they can do it again. It's actually really well done, the verse chorus format, because I mean it's a simple form, but the way they do it is it's very effective. Like, this is really why I think the verse chorus format works so well for like pop music. Not that this is pop music, but per se depends on your definition, I guess. If it's you're saying music that makes money is a blanket term for popular music, I guess you could call it this, but it's not like the sound you think of when pop. It's a metal album genre wise, but pop is a very broad term. That's a discussion in its own, but it has a form on these songs that you'll see in pop music, but it's done so well because they make it seem so seamless how they introduce these ideas and then use them in different ways. Like, you have a riff and then they use that riff for the verse, so it feels different, but it's the same riff, but they're building upon it, and the way they always transition back into that is done very well in a very unique way. And they also, it's a lot of times on this album where they'll throw in a mix-up in the second verse. I don't remember if they do one specifically on Warner, but there's a couple instances throughout there where there's something interesting that makes it different. And I really appreciate that. Like, they're taking this form, this where A B, verse chorus form, and they're building upon it. They're making it interesting. So that's nice. But at the end, when Phil Anselmo screams hate, like, you can feel the frustration in his delivery here. It is good stuff. And it also kind of summarizes the album. Like, this album, Phil's delivery is a lot of like screaming and hating on the world. So there's that. And I think it's nice, like, you can kind of embody the energy of this album. Some of the energy this album has. The general attitude of the songs is summarized at the end of War Nerve. Yeah, the ending, there's a super crunchy end riff. I love the closing. It's efficient. The snare drum is great. Yeah, I mean, War Nerve, it's a great song. It's a solid 8 out of 10, I would say. It's a banger. Great second track. Very, very fun song. Seventh pick, I have Living Through Me, parentheses, Hell's Wraith. Or Hell's Wraith is in the parentheses. This is track 8, I believe. Yeah, it's track 8. And I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. That intro riff is super heavy, and then once the rest of the group kicks in for the verse, you can hear the bass pounding. Like, pounding is the best adjective I can think of for that riff. Like, it just pounds. It's like dun, 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 in your face. I love it. The bass is really good. It adds so much weight and punchiness. Rex Brown's an underrated bass player. I'll talk about more what he does in the album later, but he's a great bass player. The chorus slaps. It's a great riff. The great vocals. It grooves. You know, when the guitar drops out for the second verse, it's a really neat and great way of mixing it. This is what I was talking about with the last on Warner. Like the second verse will come around, they introduce it again, and then they'll mix it up. The draw spikes out, and it sounds really cool. There's some really cool bass. It's like sliding up and down the neck. It's a really neat sounding stuff. It jumps right back in, and then it's like it gives you a second to breathe, and then hits you right in the face again. Um, so I see it all as a good riff when Phil says that. The riff before the break it is good. Or before the break, sorry. There's a break in this song, but it's kind of like this weird atmospheric, almost like there's like he's doing like whispery vocals, and it's very atmospheric. It's very interesting. It's not really what you would expect from Pantera, but I dig it. At one point when I was listening to this album years ago in like 10th grade, Pantera was like one of my favorite groups in high school. Still, I love them very much. Maybe I don't listen to them as much as I did back in the day, but I still really love their music when I revisit it, which I'm revisiting this album now, which I really enjoyed listening to it again. Like, really reminded me how much I love this group. But anyways, there's some of the background noise that's atmospheric reminds me of like a factory. And I thought that was cool. Like, it's not like a boring break like in where there's nothing going on, like in Sandblasted Skin. Like, there's stuff happening here. It's interesting. It's atmospheric. And then they just jump right back into the slammy, heavy, pounding riff. It's awesome. There's a really great scream going back into it. It's intense, that transition. He's like screaming his face off, and there's like drums going on and crazy guitars and everything. It's awesome. Yeah, but they just get back in there. I mean, and then kind of close out the song. I mean, it's a banger. It's a solid 9 out of 10. It's a straight up just super great banger. The tone is amazing. Dimebag's tone is so good, and it's all over this album. Like, it's a great song. Number 6, I have track 10, which I also think is the first 10 out of 10 on the album, The Underground in America. So, this song has a really high intro riff. It's cool. There's some nice hi-hat going on. When they drop it a couple octaves, I think it's 2 octaves. I could be wrong though, it might just be 1. But when I was listening to it earlier, I thought they had it up here and they dropped it 2 octaves, but I could be wrong. It might just be 1. But it hits really hard regardless when they drop it down at least an octave. The part where the guitar does the slow triplets and the double bass, it kind of sounds like he's doing like 16 triplets under it. I think it's in 12/8. It's really heavy. It's very cool. The verse in this song is chaotic as hell. There's so much happening. It's hard to describe. There's some really just chaotic stuff from all the members of the group going on, but it works. It's cool. The second part again is kind of pounding. It's really heavy. There's a great riff there. When we are the ones, it's that 12/8 riff again. It hits very hard. I like the line blending the 80s and 90s with Hey. That part is also very heavy. It also transitions very well back into that verse. So that is always something you want. The most of the world is nice. It leads nicely into the second part of the verse, and then we are the ones. It sounds like it's like a descending down riff, and it's kind of something I think he says on the track again, descending down. The 12/8. So this is a different 12/8 riff before the solo is very cool. There's an almost blast beaty part when it trades. It's like there's kind of like it almost sounds like he's bowing the guitar. I don't think he is, but almost sounds like that. And it's a nice melody when he trades off like this really intense like versus this nice like melody. It's cool. It transitions nicely into a great melodic solo. It's just a great solo. It's not like melodic it's not like a smooth melody. It's like, but it's not like a balls to the wall shred. Like there is a melody, but it's not like a smooth melody, and it works well. And I love that he quotes the walk solo. And this, if you listen, that's their most popular song, "Walk," off of Vulgar Display Power Track 3 off of that album. Um, if you listen to that song and the guitar solo a couple times, and then listen to the Underground in America, you will hear him quote the Walk solo, and that's really cool to me because this song's called "The Underground in America." Like, it just seems fitting to me. I can't really put my finger on why, because Pantera is not exactly like the most underground thing in the world, but they're not made like most people probably won't know who Pantera is, but they're also huge in the metal world. So like, I don't know, it just seems fitting. The outro is very weird. It's very awesome. It's kind of hard to listen to, but I kind of love it at the same time. It's very chaotic. The layering and mixing is really what makes it interesting. Like, there's this loud screeching noise that kind of sounds like a power saw, like sending sparks everywhere. I don't know. That was the image that popped into my head. It's strange sounding, and this is where he's kind of introduces the idea that the trend is over. Oh yeah, and in the beginning of Stand By Skin, he's like, "It's gone forever." I don't know. It's a cool way to end the song. It's really neat layering. That's what makes it interesting to me. Anyways, it's time for the top 5 tracks on the album, and kicking this off with another 10 out of 10 song. I have the title track, "The Great Southern Trendkill." What a way to kick off an album. Kind of an A-B-A-B-C form. C being a really long solo. First chorus, first chorus. The way that this song is just... There's a lot to unpack. So the intro scream that I talked about earlier is like 14 seconds long. The second you press play, all you hear is like really intense instrumentation, and on top of that, Phil just like screaming his nuts off. It's crazy. The riff that follows that has got a hella groove. The verse vocals are good. The verse groove riff just juxtaposed with the blast beat. It's cool. It's like, I don't remember exactly how it goes, but there's a really nice groovy thing, and then they kind of have like a blast beaty idea. The juxtaposition is nice. It's what we want from Pantera. I kind of thought about it. It was like what we expect and want from Pantera, given what the 3 previous albums sounded like, versus the more experimental, uncharted territory this album traverses. So, like, great examples being like The Break in Hell's Wrath, or that crazy transition thing on Underground in America. That kind of stuff you don't see anywhere else on the Pantera albums, anywhere else in their catalog. There's a cool slide-in chorus. It's fun to chant along with them with a "Great Southern Trendkill." That's right. And then they repeat the scream. I love it that he does it twice. Like, it's already so crazy that he does it once and then he does it again. It's awesome. The end of the solo is great. It's a great transition because like it's a great solo, amazing solo from Dimebag Darrell. It's like half the song's length too. He kicks off the solo with that nice motif that I was just singing. Rex doubles that motif in the bass too, and it's a nice touch. You can hear it. It adds weight. It adds depth. It adds layering to the solo. That's really nice. The tone during the bends is just so great, and Rex continues the idea. The layering in the guitar tracks is awesome. It's pretty much how it works. Is Dimebag will state an idea, right? And sometimes Rex plays it too. Then usually Rex, and then he'll put in another track because Dimebag's the only guitar player. He'll repeat the idea again in the guitar and bass, and then he adds a new idea that becomes the new melody. So what ends up happening is you get an idea, then you get the idea again, but with a new melody on top of it. So it's basically the old melody becomes the accompaniment, and that's really cool. I think that's really interesting. Yeah, the shreddy climax is awesome. There's some nice emotional bends in there. Vinnie Paul puts emphasis on the afterbeats at the end there. It makes it feel different, makes you feel like we're getting to the end. I mean, this song is a 10 out of 10. It's one of the best album openers of all time. Like, it just sets the tone for the rest of this album perfectly. I mean, you got stuff you wouldn't expect Pantera to do, which is album's got plenty of Yeah, what you do want them to do, you got an amazing solo, like definitive Dimebag Darrell, one of the maybe even the best metal guitar player ever, for sure top three. And yeah, it's a great song. It's one of the greatest solos. It's just a great Pantera song, and it's only number 5. For number 4, I have track 4 called Tens. Tens is a very unique song. This is another one where like there is no other song that sounds like this one. The intro is very dark. It's got a great tone. It's super heavy when the drums kick in. It's mesmerizing, but it's not like heavy in the way the Great Southern Trendkill was. Like in your face punchy riff. It's like it kind of puts you into this mood and you kind of just start like rocking along. And it's super heavy, like, but it's not death heavy. It's not dying fetus heavy. It's a very unique kind of heavy. I really appreciate it. Um, what else did I write down about this song? The vocals in the verse are great. I love the call and response stuff. The intensity drops and then it comes back. I love that. I love the My Foes riff. It's a peaceful release before the solo provides contrast. There's some great bass. The lead is great. The tone during the solo is second to none. This is a phenomenal solo. The phrasing is through the roof. You can hear him crying and like just expressing so much power and emotion through his bends. He's not just doing it to be whatever, showing off. Like he's doing it to express feeling, and you can feel that. The tone is just so. You need a good tone, and Dimebag's got that. Um, and the phrasing is just through the roof. It's like John Petrucci levels of phrasing. Like, oh, it's so good. There's a nice shredding climax. It provides a great release. I mean, it's just, what more could you want? This song is so unique. It's so cool. It's so good. It's a 10 out of 10. One time I was playing this album in the car, my father compared this song to Soundgarden, which I thought was kind of interesting. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. It's super unique sounding for Pantera. Even, I don't really know any other songs that sound like that song specifically, so it's unique and it fits this album so well. And it also, the feedback fade out to 13 Steps to Nowhere works very well. Great flow between songs. I love that. Sounds is just an amazing song. They played it a lot. I've seen them twice. The second time I saw them, they played this song, and it was really cool to see them play this song. And that solo was just so good, and the rest of the song is so cool too. It feels so dark and gross and grimy, but it's so good. It's such a great atmosphere. I love it. Number 3 and number 2 on my list go hand in hand. For number 3, I put track 7, which is also 10 out of 10. The Suicide Note Part 2. Number 2 is The Suicide Note Part 1, so I'll kind of talk about them together. Put these two songs together, and it's the best thing this album has to offer. But they're two different tracks, and separate them, like, they're still, like, some of the best stuff this album has to offer, but it's not as strong. It's not the best thing. So, like, if it was just one track, I honestly would think it's the best. Well, that's interesting, because if I put them together, would they be as good? I don't know. They work so well as separate tracks, but listen to them together, I think it's the best thing on this album. So I'll just start talking about The Suicide Note Part 2. The intro is chaotic. It jumps right into Phil's hectic vocals, and it fits the song and the album and the theme of this song. The squealing guitars are awesome. The Try to Die riff is super heavy and groovy and headbangable. I can't sing it. I won't even try, but it's so nice. And it's also, Vinnie Paul kind of does a halftime thing there, which this song is very fast. It's like somewhere in there at the beginning with this chaotic squealing stuff, and then he goes like that halftime idea, which is really, really effective. It's really heavy. Here's where he talks about descending down. It's on this song. When he says descending down, it's really heavy. Again, another super heavy. And if there's been like This is like a minute and 10 seconds into this track, and there's already been like three incredible riffs. You got the chaotic one, you got the Watch Me Do It riff, you got the Descending Down riff, and it's crazy how much they jammed into this. The vocals are so complement the riff so well. The solo is absolutely balls to the walls nuts. Um, yeah, it's crazy. There's no other solo like this one. It's hard to describe. It's just chaotic. I kind of think of the song's called "The Suicide Note," right? Part two is very, very heavy, and it's very, very chaotic. It sounds like someone actually committing that act. Um, and this solo, I think, I don't know if this is actually what went through Ninebait's brain, but I kind of interpret it as had like the spinning and chaotic thoughts you must be having if you're contemplating doing that. Yeah, it's very cool. Not Suicide's not cool. This musical representation of it is very cool. The music itself is just cool. If you took meaning, the Suicide like theming and imagery out of the song, the music would still be amazing, and it would still be a really cool sounding solo regardless. So yeah, the breakdown riff is insanely heavy. It's got that octave wah pedal. It's so nice. The screams over that are so crazy, and they give me chills for a long time. They scared me too much to even listen to this song, but here we are. I love it now. Well, I wasn't ready for this kind of music when I first heard it, but now I love it. The riff, as it kind of progresses, it kind of changes. He throws in variations, he throws in different ideas, and it kind of disintegrates as the song ends. Um, yeah, it's a really cool mix up at the end. It kind of disintegrates, like, again, going with that imagery, like the post action of that, like the whole world kind of disintegrating and the aftermath of that. It's a very good song. It's very powerful. Musically, it's very, very, very much what I want from Pantera. Turned up to 11. Like, this song's so incredibly heavy. It's like you didn't hear anything like those first riff ideas on the other albums. Like, it's new for the group. It's experimental for the group. The outro's so heavy. The riffing is so heavy. It's just such a incredibly great metal song. Yeah. And then you have track 6, part 1, which is its co-conspirator, I guess is the word I'm going to choose. Um just grab some water. Um the intro is very dark and it's very atmospheric. It's cool phrasing. The acoustic guitar tone when it kicks in is great. It has a beautiful melody as well. Phil's vocals are so beautiful. They're melancholic, they're rich, they're resonant, they're great. And I love the backing vocals throughout this whole song. Like when he gets towards the end of a phrase, the backing vocals will repeat the same line, and it's so gorgeous. Um, yeah, they're such a great touch. They're just, I love it. Guitars in the background are great. Um, the pre-chorus slaps. The backing vocals add depth again. The chorus is great. It like takes a step back, and the backing vocals again, just send it home. It's so beautiful. Like the song just has a soft tone. Like it's like somebody writing the note, and then part two is someone completing the action. Yeah, the second chorus is very powerful, and it's probably the reason I put it above um part one. Is it has this, the whole song is gorgeous, and then you hit the second chorus, and again this is where they're doing that verse chorus thing, but they just make it so impactful, that return of the chorus. They're not just repeating the same material just to repeat it. They're bringing it back, and they build upon it. Like you can feel the emotion. You can't really describe it really, but you can feel the emotion picking up. Like it's so good. It feels like a whirlwind. The backing vocals are incredible, and then the lead melody in the outro's on the miss. It's like what's gonna happen, and then part two is what happens, and it's great. But just that, you just gotta listen to that second chorus because it's so powerful. It like takes a step back, and then it just like the song's going up, it goes up, it takes a step back right before that chorus and just flies. Like it's great. I love it. Yeah. And so put those two together, the juxtaposition, the duality between the two suicide notes is so nice. Also pretty interesting on this, I've got like the 20th year anniversary version of this album. Where is it? The Suicide Note Part 1 intro and early mix stuff. Tracks number 6 and number 7 on here. There's some really interesting lead guitar parts that aren't on the original. And I kind of like the simplicity, so I don't mind that they got rid of them. But they're cool to hear that this was a earlier stage of the song. So it's just such a gorgeous song. Such a great ballad. Such a beautiful change. Like, you would not expect Pantera to put out such a beautiful and emotional acoustic song, but here we are on this album. So that leaves one song, and this is the song I was referring to earlier when we talked about the most popular song off the album. It's Floods. I mean, it's a 10 out of 10 track. It's incredible. Put the two Suicide Notes together, and I think it's better than Floods. But since they're separate tracks, I thought number 2 and 3 is a fair placement of them. But, yeah. Track 9, Floods. That intro guitar riff is great. The bass in this is amazing. The vocals are cool. It's kind of that weird whispery stuff again. But then they got like the response, and it's so cool. It makes me think of the snake on the cover. That's what it reminds me of. Like, it's great. The verses are great. The nailed to a cross part instrumentally is very cool. It does a nice job closing that verse. The vocal effect and the following vocals after that are very interesting. They sound fleeting. They sound unreal. The effect he applied to it, I love it. It sounds great. Take us with the flood. The passage following that has a nice change in the guitar. I like the drums here. Vocals are great. Talking about whatever, destruction of a flood or bad things happening. It's great. I love that change up in the guitar. The flood riff is so heavy. It's so cool. It's so punishing. I love the vocals fading away and how the riff takes over. It's so heavy. This is like almost another ballad. Like, yeah, it's really heavy. They're no stranger to having heavy riffs on ballads, though. Listen to This Love off of Vulgar Display of Power. That's a ballad with some heavy riffage too. The rain effects after that flood riff are very nice touches. It's a nice calm break. There's some nice arpeggiated guitar riffing in there before the solo. And I've been talking a lot about the solos, you know. Underground in America, The Great Southern Trendkill, Tens, Suicide Note Part 2, Floods. Like, oh my goodness, dude. But this solo takes the cake. This, I think, is Dimebake's magnum opus of solos. Like, where do you even begin? You got that beautiful part, the that part is kind of the first section of this solo. The tone here is so incredible. It's interesting. I have looked at the tabs on this. I have contemplated trying learning it on bass. I haven't seriously entertained it, but I have looked at the tabs, and it's cool because he's just stacking fifths, which on guitar, whatever you do, one note, you go up a string and up 2 frets, that's a fifth, a perfect fifth. Go up a string, up 2 fifths, that's a perfect fifth of the last perfect fifth. And then that second fifth on top of the first fifth is the 9th of the first fifth. That if you're unfamiliar with music theory, that probably doesn't make sense. But basically, to put it, try and make it simpler. If we take C, the song's in C sharp standard tuning, but let's just use the note C as an example. If you go up a fifth, you have C, D, E, F, G. That's your fifth. If we go up an G, A, B, C, D. The D's the fifth of G. And then G's the fifth of C. But C, D, that's the second above C. Going up again is up a ninth because you're going up above an octave above the first C. I don't know if that makes any more sense, but it's cool. In music history, we talked about this is actually kind of interesting. It made me think of this. The Police song "Message in a Bottle," I think it's called, has the same idea where he's stacking fifths and gets nines, and he got that idea from, well, he was playing Bela Bartok, etudes. This is not the etudes; these are different pieces. But Bartok's the composer, who gave him and Robert Fripp that idea to use that. I don't know if Robert Fripp wrote that Police song at all. I don't think he did, but he was playing those etudes with Robert Fripp when he came up with that idea. So I don't know if Dimebag or anyone in the group had an interest in Bartok or classical music in general, but it's just a interesting, like, these are two ideas. This is one idea that two groups have taken in different ways, which is interesting. I think that's really cool. And I felt like mentioning that just because it's cool to see groups doing similar musical ideas, but to such a different effect. And it all could have came from Bartok. I don't think it did, but it'd be interesting if it did. Yeah, it's the first section of the solo. The second section, the transition is so beautiful. Those bends are just, oh, dude, it's just, he's crying out, and it's so well done. The tone is so good. And the third section just kind of closes it all up. It brings nice closure. Like, there's a nice climax in there. Like, it's just such a great solo. It's definitely a top 3 solo for me. I'll do a top 10 solos video at some point down the line, but that's a top 10 solo for me for sure. And what's great is underneath all that, Rex Brown, again, underrated bass player. He is providing counter melodies. He almost doubles the whole, like, first passage of the solo. Wait, once I go to Steve. Sorry. But he does it in a way that, like, he doubles main ideas and then he steps back and lets Dime build on it with, like, pinch harmonics and stuff. Like, it's so well done. It's so cool. Like, it's such a great bass playing. You know, he steps up. He kind of has his own adventure during the solo, which is not uncommon for this group at all. Like, they do it all the time on any of their albums. Listen to it. And the reason they do that is interesting. You know, a lot of the times you'll hear groups who have one guitar player. He'll record a rhythm track to go underneath his solo. Pantera did not do that because they do not have a rhythm player. They wanted the album to sound like what it was going to sound like live. So you can't have Dimebag doing rhythm and lead at the same time. It doesn't work. So you just have Rex, and he does such a great job here. I'm sure this solo is pretty famous. You've probably heard it. It's incredible, though. I love it. Then after that, they come back to the flood riff, but I believe it's a step higher. When I was listening to it earlier, it sounded a step high. It sounded higher. I think it's a step from the first iteration of the riff, which is nice, because then I think they go back down, and they kind of have this like lightning riff. Yeah, Rex leaves space for him during the solo. It's really cool, but he also has very interesting stuff going on. It's just like that collaboration between the bass and the guitar is so neat and so cool. It's something more people should do. Yeah, there's that lightning crash riff that's very heavy. Sounds like a flood rolling in. And then the outro. Oh my goodness, it's a beautiful outro. Dime's tone is so gorgeous. It's kind of just like arpeggiating stuff, but it's just so beautiful and it complements the rest of the song so well. Like, and then it kind of, he repeats the idea again, but he throws in some variations. But the tone is so good, and like the phrase structure is so well put together. Like, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous outro. Like, I love it. I love it. 10 Floods is a 10, and that solo is just so incredible. Like, best single track on the album. So, what are my final thoughts on the group, on this album? I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. I don't think it's quite a 10 out of 10. I can't give it the 10 out of 10 because I have 13 Steps to Nowhere kind of mid, and I don't like that break in Stand By the Skin. So that docks at 1 point, but a 9 out of 10 is still incredible. It's a phenomenal album. Sorry. Like, it's this close to being a 10 out of 10. 9.9 if we were going to throw in decimals. It's Pantera's, you know what, do I just call it a 10? I don't know, I might just call it a 10. 13 Steps to Nowhere isn't like so offensively bad. I'm changing my mind. I'm gonna write it down as a 10. I'm changing my notes right now. The 9 just felt too low. I know I just said I was gonna dock it a point because of that, but looking back on it, 13 Steps to Nowhere isn't amazing. It's fine. It's not offensively bad. It's not enough paired with that break to dock the album a point. It's a 10 out of 10 album. I love it. It's so good. Dimebag's solos on this album are just so phenomenal. Every single one, the Great Southern Trendkill, even Dragging the Wires has got a good solo. Floods, Tans, Underground in America, they're all so great. The vocal delivery is so passionate. You can hear Phil's frustrations with the world. Like, it's so great. That's Phil Dimebag. That's Rex over here and Vinny. You can just hear his frustration screaming at the world. It's so good. Everyone was just at their best. Vinny's drum parts are great. Those bass parts and those solos are so cool. And he had so much weight during like Hell's Wrath. It's amazing. Everyone's at their best. They were able to do this really cool experimental heavy album, and they still retain their identity. Like, everything you want from Pantera is on this album and more. And that's what I love so much. It's just a banger start to finish, Like, I love that so much that they took this experimental route, and it worked. It hit number 4 on the Billboard charts. Like, that's insane. Listen, the second you press play, it's a 14-second long scream. What other band's getting that? Like, it's so good. I'm giving it a 10. I don't care that it was, get that 9 bullshit out of here, dude. This album's a 10. I don't care. It's so good. Maybe Pantera's best. It's very close between that and another one. I don't want to give it away because I'll probably do a Pantera ranking someday, but I don't know. This is number 1 or number 2 on the list. Haven't decided yet. It's a 10. I don't care. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. Next videos I'm gonna do on the. I also wanted to point out, it's kind of a coincidence that I did 3 albums in a row that are all the band's heaviest. Like, we had the Deliverance review, the Train of Thought review, and now this one. All of those are the group's heaviest release. I think it's really cool. Also, I have to mention this album cover is so cool too. This rattlesnake, I think it's like a Western Diamondback rattlesnake or Eastern Diamondback rattlesnake, something like that. And it just fits the music so perfectly. It's kind of like Rust in Peace in that, like, I see this cover and like, this is just exactly what I expect the album to sound like. So you know what, the album cover will make up for my minor critiques of 13 Steps to Nowhere and the Underground, or not 13 Steps to Nowhere, and it's good. Does that really work? No, because the album cover doesn't affect the music, but it's such a nice touch. I will use my powers of being the creator of this video to say it makes up for it. But yeah, listen to the Great Southern Trendkill. It's great. Up next, I'm gonna do Pink Floyd's Obscured by Clouds. And then after that, I think I'm going to do the Angie Deportine review. I know that was requested at some point. I haven't gotten around to it yet, so I think now would be a good chance to do it after Obscured by Clouds. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Feel free, if you like the video, leave a like and subscribe, comment. I want to hear what you're thinking about the album. What songs do you like here? Do you like this direction Pantera took with experimental stuff? What do you think about that? Let me know your thoughts, and have a great rest of your day.